To start off today, um, I was at an estate sale a couple of weeks ago, and I ran across something, and I want to see if anybody remembers this, because I picked it up because I thought it was pretty fun. Gene, do you have one of these, Gene? Now you do. So it looks like you're going to be running for office again. Okay? It was a fan, if you didn't see it, it says another Gene Lloyd Jones fan. Literally, yes. So that's one of the things I do on the weekend. My wife and I like.
How much you paid for this?
Unfortunately, it wasn't black market. I got it for $2. $2.
It has appreciated.
Let's see. So, many of you, I'm looking at a lot of familiar faces here. So many of you already know me. I've been here going on. I think I've been here 24 years now. Yes, it was a temporary job until I found my teaching job, and it was within about a year or so of being here. I was like, no, I'm home. This is where I want to be, and I stayed here. And thank you. The neat part about the job here was it also let me do a lot of things I like to do on the outside of when I'm not here at work, and that was still be involved with kids because I got my teaching degree, but I didn't teach, but I was able to coach. So I was able to leave here, coach wrestling. I did that for over 20 years at Southeast Junior High. And they feed into City High, sorry, West Side folks. But I just love the sport, and I love being involved with the kids, and I still volunteer and do whatever I can at the high school and just be involved with them. I was born on the east coast of Iowa, which is right on the Mississippi River. Mississippi River is a little town called Comanche. Yep. And then, those who don't know what Comanche is, it's between Clinton and Davenport. It's a little town. I married a girl from Clinton because my family had been in Comanche since the 1850s, and we needed to get the family tree to branch. All my cousins were my classmates, brothers, aunts and uncle, everybody was in my town. I spent 18 years in Comanche, and shortly out of high school I joined the Navy, and from there I went to boot camp at Great Lakes in the dead of winter. That was cold. And then, I still remember this, I was in boot camp with a guy from Hawaii. And he had never seen snow before. And I said, just wait. You're going to see more snow than you want to see. Unfortunately, he had to start shoveling it too to clear all the drill holes or all the grinders and everything. So I went from Great Lakes to boot camp, then I went across the street to the Naval Hospital at Great Lakes. I went to corpsman school, became a hospital corpsman. From Great Lakes, I specialized, went into working in the surgery. If you ever watch MASH, I was the one passing the instruments to the doctor and all that kind of stuff. That's what I did. From Oakland, California, I went to Iceland for a year. And if you remember, I must have did a good job. Nobody invaded Iceland while I was there. And so I defended Iceland and spent a year there. It was a NATO base. And from there, they said, where do you want to go? I said, someplace more. And they sent me to Pensacola, Florida. So I spent the last 2 years of my Navy career in Pensacola. From Pensacola, they sent me temporary duty with the Marines in Camp Lejeune. Went on a ship with the Marines to the Caribbean. Somebody had to do it. So I got to go, I remember being off the coast of Puerto Rico and seeing all the lights, and it's like, boy, it looks like everybody's having fun over there, but not on the ship. But then we did get to go to St. Thomas and see some of the sights. let's see, I got out of the service, and then I moved back to Comanche and went to junior college in Clinton, graduated there, came out to Iowa, and never left. I'm the youngest of four. I got four brothers. No, youngest of four. I got three older brothers. Three of us live out here in Iowa City, and one still lives back in Clinton. And graduated Iowa, worked at Chatham Oaks for about 6 years, and then I saw the job opening here at Oak Knoll for the recreation director, and I had just got married. I now had a stepson, and I needed to take the next big step, and that was not just take care of myself, but take care of everybody else. And they must have really liked me because they had me interview 3 times. I was running out of ties. So after that third one, they finally said, let's offer it to him, and never looked back. So I've been here back when my hair was not this color. Okay, so what do I do at Oak Knoll? It's really evolved. I used to be very involved with the health center and independent living, so I was supervisor of everybody in the health center, recreation-wise, assisted living, recreation-wise, and anything that was an independent as well. As we grew, we developed, and we had to diversify. So, Lindsay Reed, she's now in charge of recreation in the health center and assisted living. I'm more focused in on the independent living. Although we mesh, we all have different responsibilities now. And some of the things I do, the programs that we have here on Tuesday, Thursday nights, East Side on Wednesdays. I say those nights, that's usually when programs are, but sometimes the programs can't be here on those nights, so we sometimes have them on different nights. I have a program committee, and show of hands, who's on the program committee that's in here? Thank you for being here. We're the ones that are in charge of getting all the fun, exciting things, and interesting things. It ranges from the barbed wire collector to a professor coming here to talk about a certain subject from the university. Just very diverse. And like I said, probably 80% of the things that we have here comes from resident recommendations. I was reading the paper. I know somebody, I was sitting in Kiwanis Club, and we had a speaker on this, or we read, we saw something on the news. So those ideas come to us that way. And some people reach out to me as well. I have a lot of partnerships, Riverside Theater, Hampshire, Theater Cedar Rapids, Coralville Center for Performing Arts, Engler, all the arts, a lot of things locally right here. They contact me when they have something they'd like to show or present as well. But for the most part, people come to me with ideas, and I try to facilitate getting the contacts and getting those speakers here, which is no easy feat too, is trying to find common ground, especially the last 2 years. You schedule somebody, and then you have to cancel somebody, and then we're back open again, schedule them, oh wait, then went bad again. So it's been kind of a yo-yo. Nice part, now we're really busy. We have, I think next week, maybe 4 or 5 programs, and I think the week after that, another 4 or 5 programs from Monday to Friday. That's the way it happens. There's some things that we'd love to have come here, but like for instance, University it's a University of Iowa Art Share Department finds faculty, finds students who want to perform, give public performances, and just so happens it's getting towards the end of the year, and this is the week that they could do it. So we got different chamber of music groups coming on Monday, and then that Wednesday they're over at Oak Knoll East with another group of individuals. So that's why we're getting inundated with a lot of things. We'd rather have them come here than tell them no. We want to keep those partnerships going. Movies. The movies, if you ever notice, it says requested. Does anybody know why I put requested? Well, because that's the obvious one. They were requested, but I found out early on that if I did put requested, if somebody didn't like a movie, they came to me and said, "I can't believe you're picking these movies." So, when you see requested, it's not on me. And I don't tell anybody who, I say, "Hey, it's requested." I don't say who requested it, so you're not fielding calls either. But, what's that?
You're not knocking on it.
I'm not narking on anybody, no. But, so, just like, in dining, some people like this, some people like that. I get some people who said, "I can't believe you showed that movie, it was terrible." And, another person say, "That was the best movie I've ever seen." I think one of the last ones was, that dog one.
Power of the dog.
Power of the Dog. Yes, some people like, "Oh, that was the worst movie I've ever seen." And some like, "Oh my God, I went twice. I went 3 times." So, just give you an idea of some of the things we deal with the movies as well. So, if you ever have any movie suggestions, please give them to me because it makes it easier. I try to mix up classics as well as the newer movies. And lately, fingers crossed, we have been streaming things. So some of the stuff that are not available on disc yet or Blu-ray, I'm able to get streaming. So, today we watched Worth, actually still going on right now, but we've had Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Greyhound, Coda, all these things that we haven't been able to show. We've been waiting for them to come out on disc. Well, now we're able to stream some of those things. And let's see, trips. I do small trips, and I like to do some big trips, but last one we had planned was right before COVID. We were planning on a fall foliage tour of New England. We would have flown to Boston, and then we'd get on the bus and take a few days and hit the coast and hit, I think it was probably 4 or 5 states on the East Coast and see the fall foliage. Fingers crossed that was a perfect time frame. For instance, my brother's going on a Northern Lights tour of Iceland. Then it says in little print, Northern Lights not guaranteed. So same thing with the fall foliage tour. But right before we were supposed to give our down payment, I just had this gut feeling things were going to go south. And I said, let's hold off, let's not do the down payment. I have a feeling by the fall, nobody's going anywhere. Sure enough, nobody was going anywhere. So it just saved us a lot of paperwork and trying to get the money back and all that kind of stuff. But now, hopefully we'll be able to start doing that again, having some of the bigger trips. And if I ask everybody for, hey, where would you like to go? I'm gonna get 50-some responses. So I try to get maybe a few people's input. What do you think? You think this would work? Or that would work? And hopefully we get some people. We got a lot of people who want to get out and about now. So I'll be planning another big trip. Hopefully, maybe at the end of this year or maybe early next year. But my goal is to start doing a big trip every year to a year and a half. Preferably every year because somebody's got to go with you. And I'd like to travel. So the more trips I plan, the more fun I get to have is with you as well. Was anybody here on our DC trip or on the cruise that we took? Okay, that's all right. That's one of my fears is when we take a trip. For instance, when you're on the cruise, then you take day trips. And you get back on the ship. Well, we got together at supper every night, and I just, oh God, I hope everybody's here. I lost them in Cozumel. How am I going to find them? But I'm there to help with anything that that comes up. But I'm not there to, we're all adults. Go have fun, do what you want. Just here's my number. If you need bail, give me a call. I'll be there. But there to have fun, but I'm there for Oak Point person in case you need anything. Let's see, what else? Well, we do small trips. For instance, a few months ago we went to the art museum. We went to Figgy, but we also went to the art museum in Cedar Rapids.
Yes.
There was a show up there. And what I found out with the day trips, and I know people want to travel, is that I take one day trip. It used to be, okay, we're taking a trip, and I go take it, and I come back, and then plan the next one. Well, one trip that I planned to Cedar Rapids ended up 3 bus tours because so many people want to do things now. So the bus only holds 14, so we can only do 14 at a time, and I ended up having to take 3 separate trips up to Cedar Rapids. The Figgy Art Museum, we went, saw a show there. We met up with Diva Leach, and it was something that she had done her graduate work in, or was doing something. Working on a doctorate, that's it. So she was there to help, facilitate the talk and explain some of the stuff that we were seeing. I ended up taking 2 trips there because that's how many people we had that wanted to go. So when I plan day trips now, it usually takes a few weeks for it all to happen. I got to coordinate. Good. Yep.
Camp Courageous trip, is that you or?
The Camp Courageous trip is not me, although I'll be going there to help out, and Lindsay is going to help out as well. But that is planned by Lindsay Reed in the health center, because a lot of the residents we take from the health center, assisted living, and open it up to everybody else as well. So I think, I think there's maybe 3 separate trips on that one as well. And that's a fun trip. And so we go to, whatever somebody says, hey, we'd like to go here, can you make it happen? And if I can make it happen, I try to make it happen. But some of them, like somebody wanted to go to see, I think it was maybe it was the Ryman Gardens in Ames. Well, it's a 2-hour trip to get there, and then you want, this was a while ago, but you would go there and see the Ryman Gardens, but then another 2-hour trip back. And so you want to try to go, let's do Ryman Gardens, let's do something else, let's do this. You want to make it a full day and not spend the whole time on the bus. We've done the state fair, but I try not to do that anymore because we've gone there and we said, okay, everybody go, have fun. We'll meet back here at this time, but I'm already done, or we had somebody that had a medical emergency, and then everybody has to come back. So it was one of the things that now, I think the state of Iowa also sends charter buses to different locations throughout Iowa. So they were picking people up at Walmart that signed up, and they just get on the bus on a certain day to go to the state fair. So, through trial and error over the last 24 years, I know what works, I know what doesn't work. So if anybody has any ideas, feel free to let me know, and I try to make it work. I did bring notes. Haven't used them yet. This one is a joke here amongst staff, is don't give David a microphone. Also, if you have interest in something, for instance, there's a memoirs group, genealogy group, art class. If you have an interest in something and you want to know if somebody else has an interest in something, you can start with me. We can make let's put something in the memo, see if anybody else is interested. And I'm not going to be the art teacher by any means, but maybe I can find somebody who, we do have somebody who is our art teacher. But through me, we line it up, I advertise it, and for instance, the memoirs and genealogy group, Oz Crescent, touched base with me and started with me, but he took off with it. But it started with me to make sure there's interest. Where can we do it, what time, all that kind of stuff. But if you have an interest in something and would like to start something, go ahead and touch base with me and we'll get it advertised and see if it's something. What I've learned is if it's of interest to you, there's 300, 400 other people here. It's probably interested, some others are interested in that same subject. So we could try to get everybody together. I also serve on the Vespers Committee, and right now I think it's a committee of one other besides me. It's one we've always struggled with, getting people to help out with Vespers. And Vespers is on Sunday evening, 6:30 to 7. And so if anybody wanted to help with lining that up, I have a list of clergy or throughout our local area that come here from time to time, and all we do is make phone calls and see if they can be the guest speaker on that certain Sunday. And I help out with Create training, Create You training, leadership training, I serve on the Community Leadership CLP program with the Iowa City Chamber of Commerce. So once a year, I help with the healthcare session day, and we're training future leaders in our community. And when we tour hospitals, we have the guest speakers come, we have executive directors of the hospitals come. We also go into the community and tour M&Go clinic, the free medical clinic, all these other, you see what they have at the university, but now you can also see what other healthcare providers can bring, the Iowa City Hospice. So we try to give them a well-rounded idea of what healthcare looks like in Iowa City. We're really unique here too, is the fact that we have the University Hospital, we have a Veterans Hospital, and we have a community hospital. And not everybody has that in their local communities. I'm a team player. I love to help out. It just, in my nature, it's who I am. That's why I think Oakville's such a fit for me, is the fact that, and then this was an epiphany for me a couple years ago. I realized, why are you here? People have asked me in the past, why are you here? And what I really found out, on a selfish level, it fulfills my need of helping, because I love to help. And I help out whenever, wherever. I've cleaned some of your apartments. I've served food. Right now, I'm an emergency CNA, so during the pandemic, I took a course to be a CNA, so actually, after this, I probably will be in the health center for a few hours, helping out there to relieve some of our CNAs and let them tell me what to do. Granted, there's only a few things I'm comfortable with, but I'm there to help out and help out driving. And so whatever I feel I can help you with, if some, to me, I don't like people to be stressed. And if I can relieve that stress, I'll do it. Let me help you out. Let me have you have a better day. So, if somebody's going to be stressing over how something's going to be taken care of that day, it's like, hey, what would it look like if you threw me into the mix? So, any questions? Yes.
How long have you been married? And how does your wife cope with you being gone so much?
I don't know if it's coping or enjoying. I don't know. I've been married. It's a funny story there. I've been married. My wife and I always forget. But a friend of mine, for our wedding, made a stepping stone with the date on it and our names. And so whatever we forget, we go in the garden and go, okay, that's it. This is my 25th year in June. Yeah. And she knows she's a professional, I'm a professional. We know it just goes with the territory, what we do.
Well, thank you for all you've done, because this last couple of years has been pretty rough on the whole staff.
It's been rough on the staff, it's been rough on the residents, and suddenly you think you got everything ironed out, how everything works and how we get the programs, and suddenly I'm trying to figure out how to entertain people who can't come into a big room, or, you know, and trying to figure out how can I put stuff on the app, how can I put stuff on the TV. A lot of our help, and Lindsay, go ahead and stand up.
Yeah.
That's Lindsay Moore and Cam Atwater. They were interns a little more than a year ago, which is a great on-the-job training and seeing if you want to hire somebody. They graduated and we interviewed and they filled some spots. That's one of the reasons to make Lindsay and Cam make it nice for me at home, and my wife gets to see me, my family gets to see me, is because I can check out. And I used to be, I think Lindsay pushed me out the door, because I bet it was a month or two after hiring, and she knew everything that needed to be done, but I'd be there just for my own, okay, if I'm not here, things are gonna fall apart. Finally, Lindsay was just, you know, why are you here? And so then I would go home and worry about everything. And now I don't even think twice anymore. I just, you got it covered? Yep. Okay, see ya. And
She runs a good bingo.
I heard she had a good bingo party last night, yes. So, thanks to Cam and Lindsay, we were able to do a lot more. And so I'm not here as much. They're here a lot. But we work together, so.
That's good.
Any other questions? Lauren?
A few years ago, you took us on a very good trip over to the Mississippi River and went on a cruise boat. Can we ever do that again?
The question was, could we ever go to, it's actually the Mississippi Belle? I think that's, is that it? No, we caught it in Rock Island or Moline. And anyway,
David,
yes,
I have been going through a bunch of the old pictures with the scanning, putting those in, and I did the Mississippi for several years, and I did all the scanning. On the basis of that, I checked with the Riverboat Twilight. Riverboat Twilight goes out, they have a 1.5-hour cruises.
yep,
And for $20, and so that might be something that people might be interested in.
yeah, it's, Twilight I think is out of the Clare, and another one is out of Davenport, Quad City area. And you can take day trips, half-day trips, evening trips, and you also take a trip from the Quad Cities and go all the way up to like Galena or Dubuque, but then you have to have a ride home from there, because they don't have overnights, but it's day trips. So that's an option too, yes. That is on I have a list folder of things to try to do, and that is one of them. And they usually serve food and play music, and if it's really hot, you just stay inside. Otherwise, you go up on deck as well.
I know you do, but are you considering doing a trip to the new art museum, the new university?
The university's, the Stanley Museum of Art, we actually have Lauren Lessing coming here. Is she still coming? Or is it already happened? I work months in advance, so it's now I sometimes get mixed up in what's happened or what hasn't happened. She will be here soon to talk about it. So put a bug in her ear when she's here, say, could we tour it sometime? And I'm sure she'll say yes, because you'll have her on the spot. But no, we can do that. We'll just run over there, and maybe it's just something that we line up, because I imagine it's going to be several trips, so it might have to be over a course of many days. But yes, that's another thing is somebody wanted to We're gonna have Riverside Theater come here and talk about their new theater, what's coming up this summer. And also, if you haven't seen the Riverside Theater, it's now in the Pet Mall, and people are worried about what the theater is, accessible, and how do I, where do I sit, where's the best place to sit, how do I get there, because it's in the Pet Mall, all these different things. So we're gonna try to line up a time to go there as well, to see the Riverside Theater, so you can see it before you go there.
Are you the one that lines up the football and other games here, or who does that?
The athletic department at the university lines up the football. No, that's Bruce and Tim and them do all the games. Yeah. Whether it's basketball, usually the basketball, the men's and women's game is in football. And they usually have tailgate parties as well. That's Bruce and Tim.
Yeah, have you thought about asking Andre Perry to come? He's the new, as the 16th of May, he will be
Yep.
the new head honcho for Hampshire. And
Right.
also, you could do a tour with that for people who don't know Hampshire, and there are a number of people who come to Oakville who don't know Hampshire.
Yeah, it's been when Hampshire first opened up, I chartered a bus, because that's how many people we had that toured Hampshire. So, but we've also had a lot of people move into Oakville since then. So that's another thing we try to line up, is maybe go to Hampshire and also reach out, because Andre used to be with Engler.
Anyway,
Yeah, the Engler. And he's been here and spoke many times before, but that was on the Engler. So now maybe, sometimes like the president of the university, we have come here and speak, but she's supposed to, every year we have them, but when she was supposed to, would have been here, she'd only been here a month or two, so we wanted to get her feet wet before coming here to speak. So,
You don't think this would be a good place to get your feet wet?
we don't want to chase her off. No,
No, I understand, we're not the main,
well, it's all lined up through
currently
her people.
responsibility,
Yeah, and she doesn't have a say in it probably, and her people line it up, and they tell us when they're ready. Yeah. So bringing Andre, I think that's a good idea, because get everybody knows Chuck.
maybe you talk about the new season.
Right, it could be the new season, it could be what his thought is as in that position, how to move forward, how's Hampshire gonna sustain itself if they don't get public funding anymore, or, there's just so many different things, Hampshire's transforming.
Kim Hankelowitz from Orchestra, Iowa.
Tim Hankelowitz from Orchestra, Iowa, used to come here. Whenever they have something lined up, and he thinks it's something that Oakville will be interested in, he would do like Friday afternoons. Now we got choir here, but they'd come and bring. A nice part of some of these places, they bring an artist in. Well, that artist may be here on Wednesday for a Friday, Saturday show. So then they do some community service, and so that would be one of the opportunities. And usually Tim, whoever's performing, he'll bring here, maybe not to perform, but to talk about what they do and how they got into it and everything else. So Tim is always, him and his people have always been excited to come here.
I don't know which group it was, but you've had several. You had Jerome Kern, you had South Pacific, I think,
Mhm.
and they performed, but not the full thing, but performed for us.
We've had musicals here, we've had South Pacific,
My Fair Lady.
My Fair Lady, we've had several ones, usually Ed Kotick and Josh Sassoon, and they would put together these musicals. It wasn't like scenery and costumes, but it was the musical portion of everything. They still did the show, only it was on, just not, it was more the show without all that special stuff, yes. So you still got to hear the music and everything. We've had several of those. I think we were planning on having another one, and then pandemic hit. And I know we've got an opera that he's working on coming here as well. I think I may have it scheduled already.
Do you know what? Just,
It's one I've never heard of,
oh, okay.
and so you have to, you can catch up with me. I got it written down, but it's one I'd never heard of before. Yeah. Yeah. And so we got some operas coming as well, and hopefully someday we'll have musical again. We have usually a Friday show and a Saturday matinee, and they usually coincide it with the Iowa City or the Corville Center for Performing Arts perform here, and then they perform there as well. Anything else? Yes.
How many, we've had standing room only when we've had chorus concert. How many people will this open for a concert hold? How many?
Well, if you look on the wall here, we got 272 can fit in this room, and I think there's another 270 something that fit in that room.
I'll see that before.
But just try that. It's very close. You are exactly right. They said how many. That's not. I think that's what they based it on when they put that number on there. And then when I say we, whoever built the building, just imagine putting 500 people in here. You're not going to sit down. You're all going to be standing, shoulder to shoulder, staring at each other. So I'm thinking that most I've had in here about 200. We also open up the back wall, and some people sit in the pub and watch as well. Because when we have the musicals here, we have stages, and they come out to probably, first row right there, with the orchestra pit back here. And so you lose almost half your room. So that's why we went to 2 shows as well. And that's worked out really well. Now, maybe someday we could rally the troops and let's get a theater. That would be great. Then we could have a stage and theater seating and everything.
I've always wondered why they never had a chapel here.
A chapel, I don't know. It's always been a space someplace within the building, but they've never had a chapel here. And I think it's one of those things where I don't know for sure, but it's to have a room that's used once a week. But if you had a room like that or a space like that, would it be used a lot more often? Would Catholic services be there? Would Catholic services happen on Fridays? Would Bible study use it? Would Vespers use it? So it could be used for other things, but also where would you put it? Right now, we're kind of landlocked. Yeah, there's empty rooms, but there's, you can't, the Catholic services can't fit in the lounge anymore because they got too big. So they're meeting in the studio downstairs now. So the space is another thing. Also, it's nice having services near the health center, assisted living, so you don't have to bring all the residents from all the way over there, all the way over here if this is where you're having services. Because then you would have to have all the volunteers or staff to take care of that. Otherwise, where they're at right now, they just come downstairs or down the hall.
Dave, thank you very much.
You betcha.
Good